Joys of recovery. Adam. Why are you not trained? So you can fucking look like this, smart. He's here. He's blagged us into not training as well.
What? Have you not trained?
Oh, I didn't. Listen, so you know this isn't on his programme.
I'm the juice man. But unless you want to see me in the pink velvet and swimming shorts,
yeah.
that's all there.
Nah. The opposite gone. Also, that's where we're going to do the chat.
Okay, so
Yeah. So let's do this workout. You can sit and watch what we do. Yeah. As most of these know, I'm James SHINNy Davenport.
I'm Adam Deering.
And I'm Adam Tomlinson.
Right. 3 alcoholics. Trapped in a cage, basically. So yeah, I think we're going to start. We'll start with Adam. Adam Deering. Over. What was your addiction?
Yeah, so started off with alcohol for a number of years as a teenager, and then introduced cocaine into that. Well, it started with ease actually. Started at bits of ecstasy, partying, club scene, yeah, and then cocaine became popular. So I ended up, unfortunately, on that wave, or fortunately, because I'm glad to be in recovery. And yeah, and then in the end, the last sort of 6 years, so I started drinking when I was like 16, started drugs when I was 19, and then I got into recovery at 31. But the last 6 years, about Valium played a big part in Xanax. Just because I was trying to regulate my sleep and I was trying to get the balance right between vodka, cocaine and Valium, and I never did. You know, I was either too high, too pissed, too slurry. And you know what happened in that period? It never once occurred to me to put it all down, and I'd naturally balance myself out. That was the last thing I thought.
So are you balanced now then?
Yeah, I'm okay now. I'm all right.
You
Clean and
fixed?
sober now. Never fixed. It's a lifetime of work with no end, right?
Yeah. I like what you said there, where you was glad of it as well, sort of, because you found recovery out of it.
Yeah.
I say that today when we say we're grateful alcoholics or grateful addicts. When I first heard that, I thought, what the fuck are they on about? Why are they so grateful about that? But we found something. We're the blessed ones. We're the lucky ones that have found this recovery.
Well, I spent my life, even as a child and a teenager, I never felt like I belonged anywhere. I never felt like I fitted in. You know, I was from a broken home myself, and I was expelled from school at 14, and I just always felt like a fuck up basically. And it
I was expelled at 14 as well.
Yeah.
Was you expelled at 14?
I promised the teacher that I'd never go back. And I think that's just down to like low self-esteem, innit? Low self-esteem, I'll be what you want me to be.
Yeah.
You know, like just going into groups, right, well they're doing that, so my self-worth is that low. I'll go and do what they're doing to feel part of it.
Well, everybody told me I was crazy, and that I then made that my identity. I was like, oh well, that must just be who I am.
That's who they perceive me to be.
It's hard as well if you grow up in an underprivileged area, and you know your mates are all similar, and they're from broken homes. You don't know what good looks like yet, do you? So you just end up trying to fix on different things, which you think are going to serve you well, but it's a temporary reprieve, isn't it? You get
negative impacts, isn't it? Doing something that's going to have negative consequences, but not being able to get out of it, changing to something else. That was my pattern. You know, started with alcohol, very quickly LSD, then like yourself, ecstasy, amphetamine, and then when I first used heroin, then I spent the next couple of years trying not to get addicted to heroin, which I already, since I first took it, I was addicted. But I didn't know that. I was always trying to, because heroin carries a stigma to it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be in that category.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? There's like, you think there's some sort of drug addict hierarchy. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, I'm a cokehead. I've never done heroin.
Because it's accepted, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's bad, isn't it? It's all addiction. It don't really matter. I mean, I remember I was in rehab in Chiang Mai in Thailand. I got roomed off with Pete Doherty. He landed 3 days after me, and we got buddied up in the rehab. And I was intrigued because I'd never taken heroin or crack, so I was asking him questions about it. I said, "So Pete, how did you end up on heroin?" said, one day I was just in London and I went to the wrong party. It was being passed around. I smoked it, and he said within 4 weeks he was injected. And I thought, you know what? We could have all just gone to the wrong party.
Did you compare with him a bit? Thinking, well, maybe I'm not a real addict here then, because I'd never done heroin or crack.
No, you know what I actually thought? You know what my first thought was? Fucking hell, I wish I'd have tried that. That's what my first thought was.
That's what the man's like, innit, of us.
Yeah. When I got out of rehab and I got into recovery and doing meetings, obviously now my thoughts after that weren't that, but my initial thought when he was telling me about it.
Why didn't I give that a try before the end?
Yeah, well, my boots up too soon here.
Well,
whilst I was in a mental hospital.
Yeah, that's the mentalness of us, isn't it? The thinking.
Heroin was always like a good come-down drug. So if I was out drinking with my friends and taking ecstasy, amphetamine, cocaine, I didn't really like that feeling of being up there. I preferred to be sort of relaxed, calm, peaceful, and heroin just used to wrap around you and bring you from there to there very quickly. Didn't suffer with hangovers or anything with heroin. I just take heroin, and I felt okay again.
No, I never felt that, except that last time. My last outing was the final night, and it was because of heroin, basically. It's not. I'm not saying I hit my rock bottoms of alcohol and crack and cocaine. I hit many of them, but I was still able to think I'm still all right here. But the final time, that height that I was hitting with crack and cocaine, it was absolutely mental to the point where I needed to come down. So sometimes I'd have a go of heroin and loads of alcohol, but there's no alcohol, so I had a real hit. And I'd never felt it like that before. And the girl that was in the gaff with me, I just kind of fell back. It's like I floated back. And I was like, fucking hell. And she says, oh, you've had a proper hit tonight, haven't you, Shin? And it felt amazing. I'd never done that to me before. And that was the day after. That was my final rock bottom. That's when I run my sponsor, Alan. And I said, I need fucking help, because I'd done 8 months recovery beforehand, but I didn't work the program. I was attending meetings, talking a good in, yeah? But I wasn't going near the steps. So then I'd relapsed in Cyprus, come back 5 months. They talk about the progressive illness. It progressed massively. And it took me 5 months to get to that night, that final night when I had that. And I knew if I would order crack the day after, I was going to order one of them and one of them. And for me, I don't think I would have been here today, because that would have been that was the same. Heroin was the final one. If I'm an heroin addict, I am fucked. I can be a crack addict. I can be an alcoholic. I can deal with that. But when it was for heroin, and that was how I picked up the program. Thank God I had that final relapse. Thank God I had that hit of heroin. I still could be there.
Last little go and try and use successfully is like for me the final nail in the thing. I can't do this. I need something else. You know, I can't, whichever way around, trying to take drugs or drink successfully, I end up worse. So for me, coming in recovery and then still being quite arrogant, yeah, I know everything. I can do this myself. Thanks for what you've taught me. Off I go. As long as I don't smoke heroin, I'll be all right. And then very quickly start drinking again. Bang, back to heroin. Shit, I need help again.
Yeah, I believe every addict, alcoholic, needs a rock bottom, and that comes in various guises, various forms for different people. You know, for me, it was an emotional rock bottom. I was having panic attacks. I pushed everybody away. You know, I wasn't in touch with my family anymore. People didn't want to hang around with me because my behaviour was erratic and crazy. And in the end, I was just on the sofa at home drinking wine. Popping Valium just to try get through the days and get away from the night start.
Yeah, it gets smaller, doesn't it? Smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Like your family won't have you about. Your friends don't want you near. Yeah. I'd like, you know, rob different pockets of people, so it like just starts coming in, and then you're left with your drug, and it's just like down.
But we all end up on our own. The disease for me, it still does it today. It turns on everyone. Disconnects me, and then it starts to turn on me, and I think that's what happens with it. We all end up on our own, don't we? But I don't think none of us that enter the rooms of AA or NA or CA, any of the fellowships, like with 20 of us, like we've just all been out for a bit. We all end up because we all ended up on our own. And for me,
it's not a coincidence, is it, that we end up in them places?
When I was 18 with my little Ralph Lauren shirt on, spraying some aftershave, getting ready to go into town.
it was all right then, wasn't it?
It was all right, but it didn't end up like that.
Yeah.
You know, it became unmanageable, and for me, it's the unmanageability part what brings me in, because my life was shot. You know, I had debts coming out my ears, my business was going bust. My missus and brand new baby at the time had just left me. So I was just left in an empty house. And when you put the drink and the drugs down, that's, I won't say that's the easy part, but when that's been down, then you're left with your head, and then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah. Because fundamentally we're flawed. It's our thinking what's flawed, because it centers in the mind, because happy, healthy humans don't drink and drug to unhealthy excess to harm themselves and others.
Yeah.
You just don't do that. So it's because fundamentally we're unhappy, and we've got, whether it's childhood trauma or whatever's gone on, you know, we've got a lot of stuff to unpick and really, really look at. And
so I was seeing something the other day, and you sent me the same guy. I'll send it you. And what this educated guy in the field of addiction said, all addicts, yeah, it comes from it. All kids can have trauma, but not all them kids end up being the addicts. You know, they can get on with that. But they reckon all addicts, all alcoholics have had some form of childhood trauma. So the ones that didn't turn into the alcoholic or addict, that means they didn't have the disease in the first place. But we have all had trauma. Some of us don't even know it.
Well, you know what's mad about that? There's a closer intrinsic link by percentage to childhood trauma and addiction than there is to being obese and diabetes. There's a closer link. And, you know, there's not many people I speak to in recovery who said, yeah, I had an amazing childhood, my mum and dad are still together, felt loads of love and this, that. You know, they're the exceptions, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, I hear him say it, like, I had a good upbringing. I hear him say that. But then something always creeps out after them being in the rooms a while. It's like they work it out for themselves and go, do you know what, something did happen to me as a child. And for me, it wasn't nothing like, I wasn't abused or anything, but what did happen, I was scared, feared. My dad left as a child. I was left with my sister and my mum, and I had massive fear going on. When my mum would leave, I was terrified. I didn't know what it was. And as soon as I could work out something else to take me out my thinking, like I say, with that vinegar and the food, I became obsessed with it because it was taking me away from that thinking of being alone, scared that someone was going to leave me. And that just manifested from vinegar to food into alcohol. And then I knew I just needed substance to take me out of this thinking. But when I took all that substance away at 40, I started working this program. I felt like I was back to square one. Dead immature, scared, you heard me many times, sobbing, didn't have an understanding of what was going on around me. Fear-based disease, that centres in the mind, that's the only thing I can put it down to. For me anyway, I can only speak for me. It's all fear of things.
We said it this morning about honesty, you know, touching back to what was just said before, you know, like trauma and like searching inside yourself. Because it's like, say first time I met you, are you okay? Yeah, I'm all right. You know, that's the initial answer. I wouldn't say, oh, this is happened to me until I build, you know, I don't trust quickly, so I have to build that trust with people. I hear you, let's say in a meeting, just as an example, start talking about things, and we said it before, as soon as you bring something to the table, and I'm thinking, wow, I've carried something like that, something similar to that for, say, 20 years, and he just dropped it in like
so
that.
So it's an encouragement to open up yourself.
So honesty breeds honesty. I hear you say that, and then that makes me aware of my internal stuff, and it's like, it starts bubbling inside me then, and it's like ready to come out. You know, and I was lucky enough to be in a treatment centre to do mine, where the people that went before me, you know, because we think we're unique as addicts and alcoholics, don't we? That like, nobody feels like me. If you had my upbringing, you know, you'd use drugs, he's a bitch, she's a, you know, all that. You know, and I heard a couple of girls share stuff before me, and it was deeper and it was darker than my own stuff. So it kind of gave me that strength to...
Where did you say that I've identified more in the rooms with women's shares? You know, like the sexual behaviours, the eating disorders that, you know, I do speak about a lot. And that has encouraged not just other men to speak about it, even women. And for me, it's just alcoholism for me today, it's got fuck all to do with alcohol. alcohol was just very addictive for me. And I was reading something the other day, the Arabic meaning of alcohol, the flesh-eating ghoul, and they reckon for us that have got the allergy, the illness, when we put it in, it becomes that chaotic. When they talk about blackout and doing aggressive things and sexual weird stuff, it's because it's not you. Yeah. Your spirit, it kind of jumps ship because it's that chaotic. You can't stay in that chaos. And then that allows an opening for the dark side to come in. And that's why a lot of people black out, because it wasn't even them. You know, and it's just all down to the same thing. It's some people think there's a lot of talk of alcohol in AA. That's the only place I talk about it. But for me, it goes way beyond that. Thousands of years, what this problem is in us. And there's somewhat more to it. AA's opened it.
I don't know about it. It's that internal stuff. It's that internal stuff, you know, because once I've been in recovery for 3, 4, 5 years, it no longer becomes about the substances. I still go to regular meetings and mutual aid stuff because it keeps me ticking over and because I don't want that old lifestyle back. So I keep topping up my medicine, if you like. But then it becomes about living life, because for me, my life consisted of drugs from a very young age, trauma like yourselves, then trying to escape that trauma, substances, then the consequences of like prison, homelessness. But I could kind of handle them sort of situations because that's all I did, that's what I knew. So then when I get into recovery and that turns full circle, I've now got to pay bills and live life and be responsible, you know, something that I've avoided all my life. So I find that difficult. So I need people that are, you know, that have done that stuff before to say, you know, to give me that encouragement, it's going to be all right, or, you know, this is how you do it. And that's one of the hardest things for me, is asking for help, because I have the male pride that doesn't want me to, because I should know how to do this. Why should I? I've never done it.
Ever be a cure for this illness?
I mean, if someone said to me, here's a pill you can take every day and you won't have to be in recovery or go to meetings anymore, I'd say no thanks.
Because you're all right, because you've got this solution anyway.
Yeah, because my life's great in recovery, and I'm 100% convinced that if I didn't find recovery, I'd be dead.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
So for me, there's nothing, and I have to put my recovery first so everything else in my life doesn't come last.
Yeah.
Because everything else in my life did come last. You know, I wasn't present at work, I wasn't present with my kids, I wasn't present when I was in a relationship. I was just a zombie, really.
How do you find that now, though? Because I know we're aware that we wasn't present fully, but I can spend all day not present. I can be thinking, you know, when I crack the joke, I can spend all day thinking about me and then go to bed thinking about me. And I can dream about me and then I'll fucking wake up. First thing that's on my mind is me. That is self-obsession and its purest, isn't it? But I'm working this program to the best of my ability. I'm still working on it all the time.
You could say that was a lack of faith as well, couldn't you?
I mean, what I have
picture. You know, like we act, don't we? You know, like if you say this is going to happen, I'm away in my head trying like what's it going to be like? You know, playing it through, playing like a film inside my head.
I mean, what I have to do to overcome self-obsession, self-loathing, selfishness is I have to help other people.
Yeah.
And
which we can all agree.
By virtue of the fact that you're helping somebody else, you're not in self. You know, you're not in self-will if you're helping somebody else, are you? So that must be doing God's will.
But what I find hard is, it's like when I'm training, I'm out myself. It's like I'm meditating. When I'm meditating, I'm out myself. When I'm helping others, it's that gap that I struggle with when it's not a meeting. When I am on my own, I still can't fucking sit with myself.
Yeah.
And that's
what... You can manage it now.
I can manage it a lot better because we've got access like the phone. I can ring another addict or another alcoholic and talk about it. But sometimes, left alone, I've been isolating without even knowing, just lately. I thought I'm not disconnecting. I'll train, I'll do a meeting, but someone pointed out, and it was someone from recovery, someone that's been around a lot longer than me. What are you doing within that time? I'm like, well, I'll go home. He's like, yeah, I'll have something to eat, right? And I've been going to bed in the afternoon, and right, why? Because I don't like sat with that. He says, so that's a form of depression. You're going to sleep because you don't like your thinking. So what do you need to do? And it's the same again. Go and fucking help someone again then. Maybe go to the gym again. Go and meditate again. It's like it's a work in progress all the time, innit? One day at a time. I can sometimes wake up and think, right, I say my prayers first and foremost, me, because my head is negative first. It always has been, I believe it always will be. I'll do my coffee and then I'll meditate and I think, right, all I've got to do is get through this fucking day. Sometimes it's a burden. Sometimes it's like fucking buzzing. I'm in recovery, I'm clean and sober.
I've been talking about this a lot lately, in that, you know, our thinking is flawed, but I think a lot of human beings suffer with this. I don't think it's just alcoholics and addicts. And, you know, we find beauty as human beings in other things, like playing with a puppy or a baby or walking and seeing mountains and stuff. Just, we find beauty in all these things, but is it because these things are beautiful, or is it because during that moment we get to escape our own mind? During that moment when you're looking at a mountain or looking at a lake or playing with a baby, you're not in your own head.
What's the beauty? The mountain, or because you're away?
I believe for me it's because I get to escape my own mind.
It's feeding your spirit.
Or could it be a mix of both then? You're seeing the beauty, but you're thinking, you know what, it's getting me out of my head
Maybe, but then
as well.
sometimes my mind's been that negative. You know, when I was drinking and using, I'd be in beautiful places and I wouldn't notice it.
But it's the same with helping another. When I first started helping someone, and the big book tells us when all else fails, go and help someone, it will transform my thinking. And the more I was helping, I was thinking, am I doing this for them? Because I'm feeling fucking good when I'm helping someone. But then it's like, well, no, don't get caught up in that bullshit again. Because I'd be like, I'm being selfish.
No, you're not though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I have thought that.
You're being selfish, but you know, you're doing a selfless act, so it's making you feel good because it's feeding your internal spirit. You know.
But I picked up on what you said. It's a similar thing, isn't it? It's like, what am I looking at now? Is it the beauty of that, or is it because it's taking my head away? What's the difference? Is it because I'm really helping this person and it's making me feel good, or am I purely doing it to make me feel better, just to help him?
But if it makes you feel better, does it matter?
Yeah.
It's just those overthinking things, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's what we do. We'll analyse the back out of everything.
Think.
I mean, my first thought when somebody asked me for a lift isn't, oh yeah mate, no problem. My first thought is, fucking hell, what, this is a ball, mate. I don't want to drink. That's not my text back. I text back, yeah sure, no problem mate. And then when I picked him up, and then you know what, I'll end up having like a conversation which will spark something or something, and
like you needed that, you needed to pick him up as well.
Like the other night we bumped into each other, didn't we, on Monday night at a meditation meeting. I did not want to go to the meditation meeting. I was like, half an hour meditation, my head's crazy right now, I can't handle it. You know, and I overcame the fear, my own fear-based thinking, to go to the meeting. I saw you there on Monday and you invite me here today.
And now it's here, yeah.
That wouldn't have
and
happened.
I wasn't due to go because Donovan trains here on a Monday night, and I usually stay with him, but just lately I thought, I need more meditation. So it was like, I'm just going. And when you come in, it was like, and all my other mates was there as well, I thought, sound. That was well worth it. And then from that, it's like we say with relationships, people are put in our path for certain reasons. We was meant to bump into each other that night to say, right, let's do this. And from this conversation, you staying at our house, this can probably help save a lot of lives because of that, not coincidence, how we bumped into each other. Do you know what I mean? But we see that, you know, when you say there's no such thing as coincidences. I strongly believe it now. There isn't coincidences. It's all meant for a reason.
But it's like, Adam, never met you before, or I don't think I have, but straight away when you're talking, I know you cut from the same cloth as me by the things you say, by, you know, like things that have gone on in your upbringing, different journeys, but I know, you know, I feel like I know you, like straight away I warm to you because you speak my language and you tell my story, so it's like...
We've already had the same thing, violence as kids, kicked out of school, not feeling part of. It's always the similar stories in the meetings. It's as if we're like, you know, from the same cloth. It's like we're a different fucking species totally than, as we call them, the normal people out there. I feel like it's a very, very strange connection that we all have. But nobody sees this, connection. You see. This is the closest people are getting to an AA or an NA meeting because nobody gets to see what we do in them.
Yeah, look, I mean, we need to be role models of success in recovery, success in life. It's a bridge to normal living. I don't live in recovery meetings.
Yeah.
And I mean,
But we need them.
I need them, and although a lot of my friends are in recovery, but we've all gone on to live successful, happy, purposeful lives. Whereas before that, it wasn't. Any success was short-lived. Any happiness was short-lived. There was no purposefulness because it was all selfish. And
so anything we do, you've hit success massively. What would you put that down to? Would you put it down to this, the drive?
Absolutely staying sober. Well, the drive was always there.
Even in your drinking?
Even
that made you like a really good drinker?
Well, just my consumption was that huge of cocaine, and the places I then wanted to. I never actually got personally any wealthier. My nights out just got bigger. So I was blessed to have a debt management company helping people get out of debt, and the credit crunch happened, and I went from 8 to 120 staff in 18 months, and was driving whatever car I wanted. And I thought, right, I'll move to the best part of Manchester. So I moved to Hale in Cheshire, and I thought, that's it.
Still not seeing that it was the substance that was the problem.
No, and I thought, right, I've moved to my eyes Hollywood. The women are still wearing sunglasses in the winter, and there's more people like me who've got excess disposable income who can spend it on drink and drugs. So that's it. I've arrived, and I've never been so popular yet so lonely. I remember sitting in a nightclub with 20 people, all being paid for by me. And inside I was dying.
Yeah,
inside I just thought, what am I doing here? What's my life come to? But to the outside world, I was king of the castle.
But to the outside world, you'd be like, what's your fucking problem, Adam?
Yes.
You've got everything. But we understand that, but normal people don't like that. Shin, you got, we don't see it. We don't really see it because
I didn't have a lot.
It's not answering our
questions.
questions.
I still identify with that pain, being in a room full of people, but feeling like I wasn't, I was on my own.
Yeah,
I was on my own, and I was broken inside.
Yeah, I was locked in. I was just a passenger being carried by this toxicity.
Did you feel the same as a kid? Like an outsider looking in, never felt part of?
I remember as a kid walking past a happy family at Christmas time, and we're all sat in the window having Christmas dinner. And I remember thinking, you know what, I wish I had that. I wish I had a happy family where people aren't shouting, there's not violence, there's not craziness, and everybody's happy. But yeah, it's I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And so I always felt. But you know what? I had that in drinking as well. I always felt that I needed to be in the next club, the next bar, wherever I wanted to be somewhere else. I was never comfortable wherever I was.
Never content.
I needed to be in a different relationship. I needed to be in a different job, a different business, everything. I thought chasing something else was the answer, but it never was.
Got emotional then.
Yeah.
Could you see his emotion?
Yeah, I was getting emotional from you because I was identifying what you were saying. As a child with my sister and my mum, and I would see a father figure, fucking hated it. I didn't think, I wish I had that. That's where the venom started then. You've not got that. That's when it all started playing with me then. And I was always after some form of father figure then. We talk about alpha males not being around today. I had this thing with Donovan, my son. He's getting big now and he's fucking pushing me about like. And when I done that episode with Dorian Yates, his best mate come with us, Radvik, and he was a man of the world. And he said, listen, that's not your problem. That's good that your son's doing that. That means your son loves you and he feels protected by you and he can test his strengths with you like he wouldn't be able to do with a man out there. So the problem today is there's not many alpha males out there. So my alpha male in Salford was the older lads that I felt safe with, and it was criminals. So I thought, that's my father figure. And that's what I went with then. But when I was in the midst of it and I had this illness, this stinking illness, I thought, now I don't feel safe. Yeah. But I'll feel safe if I'm like the father figure now. So I started manipulating the full thing.
Wanting to be part of, but having a negative people influencing you.
Yeah,
you know, I can say, same with me, 11, 12, 13 years old, hanging about with 18-year-olds, wanting to feel part of what their little clique. So I'd be doing their things, what they were doing at young, pretty much before it even got to high school.
If you can all sympathise with that, like the upbringing, I make extra effort me with my son and daughter, and I see you do with your kids and you do with yours. Do you think because we've had some form of trauma that's enabled us to become better parents. Because I think if I wouldn't have had that, no dad and stuff, I don't think I would have been as much of a good parent today. But I'm scared of our Donovan or Gracie Lee ever feeling what I felt. Because I can remember being at it was like a fucking film set, me and my sister, out a window, waiting for our dad, who was an alcoholic. This disease killed our dad. I watched him for 10 days die on the Liverpool Pathways thing. And I couldn't get into my thick skull when I first come around in recovery. I still hated Pete, my dad, because he left when I was 1. But I forgive him in a meeting because I thought he was just ill. The poor bastard was just ill. Why didn't he turn up them days?
I can see it now for what it is.
I can see it.
When you're a kid, you sort of, because I can remember childhood and I spoke about, my own mum.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you kind of blame yourself, don't you? But then when you get into fellowship and you kind of get an understanding of what's going on, you can see it through a different pair of glasses, if you like, can't you?
See what the cameras will be picking up on now. They'll be like, wow, they're not really talking about drugs and alcohol here. We started with it, didn't we? But now what we're talking about, it's feelings, it's the past, bereavement, emotions and stuff.
It's accepting it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how it is. I didn't see it as it was then, but I do now, and that's why I understand it more now.
Yeah.
I think what recovery gives me is the opportunity to break the cycle of bad parenting. I mean, I'm not with the mother of my kids, as I know you're not.
None of us are sat here, Adam.
We're all similar, aren't we? We're all the same.
Even the camera crew are like, yep, we're on that as well.
Yeah. So and I think it's important because we obviously don't want our kids to grow up with our heads. So there's not only our kids. They're going to go on to have kids. There's tens of lives relying on us holding our shit together. If we lost our shit and went back out drinking and drugging, well, we'd be dead, wouldn't we?
We've not broke the cycle, have we?
We've not broke the cycle, and what would happen is then there's tens and tens of other lives.
My purpose as well.
To break generations, future unborn generations.
But do you see any traits? Do you see what you were saying this morning, weren't you? You've got a real fear about that. Donovan was brought up with just pure love of his mum and me. And he was kind of, we masked everything from him, my chaos and my madness, and he had pure love. But with Gracie Lee, there was a difference where Gracie's mum got up and left with her, and even down to the point of sleeping in a spare bedroom with my daughter on the floor. See what I mean? That's how we can get a bit emotional when we talk about. I get really emotional when I think about that. And I couldn't see what I was doing at the time. But today with Gracie Lee, she's had trauma. Being taken away from her dad and then sleeping on the floor, for me, that's enough trauma in itself for a child. And what I see in her today is 2 different people, her and Donovan, they're my kids. She's got every ism that I ever had as a child, down to wet in the bed. She has fear. She talks about death, scared of people leaving her. She's only 9. She wants to be the centre of attention. She can manipulate a full fucking gym if she wants as well. She's got them skills, as I call them. And that terrifies me. So it terrifies me. Can I break the cycle for her though? If it's in her, can I break the cycle? That's what my dad did.
You just show her the way, don't you? You just show her the way that that's not the answer. She'll make her own path in life. You'll just be that sort of, people make their own choices, don't they? Even kids. My sponsor,
when I was saying we need to sort something out, you was even involved in the conversations. Trying to work, is he some form of 12-step for children? And he bollocked me, as sponsors do. He went, how fucking dare you? How dare you? What, you're going to control your daughter's life? She's got her own higher power. You've got to remember that. We have no control over people, places and things.
Like I say, you have to just show her the right way.
Yeah, I think we can lead by example though.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what, I don't regret or look back on my childhood. I mean, the way I see it, I was taught how to hunt, the transferable skills from being an alcoholic, an addict, and all the craziness and madness what goes on there. I now apply that into business, and now apply that into employing other people and helping other people.
That
and
drive.
Stuff like that.
But very resourceful, very skilled, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel sorry necessarily for the kids who have had childhood trauma. I feel sorry for the kids who don't know how to hunt because they're brought up like in a posh family and everything's just okay for them. What they're going to do when the world collapses? We're comfortable in chaos. We can thrive in chaos.
We can survive.
Yeah, we've been taught how to hunt, but There's a lot of kids out there who
Haven't got
don't
a
struggle
clue.
with that.
Yeah. Because we found recovery, haven't we? But I feel sorry for the people. We say we're the lucky ones to find this stuff because it gives us awareness on our mental health and on our actions, our daily actions. But for some people, they've not got a fucking clue what's going on. That's why there's a lot of, it's sad to say, a lot of suicides today, a lot of using drugs. Because let's put it, you know, if your mental health's right, why the fuck do you want to drink and take drugs? For us, there was something going on in our mental health in the first place. And today, there's a lot of mental health going on.
I kind of see it as like, when I'm running the show myself, evidence tells me that I'm in trouble. So I need some help. So something outside of me has to come in to help me. Because, you know, I've got evidence. I've tried to stop using for 20 years, failed every time. Tried to not commit crime and done that, you know, so I have to come to that place where realization I can't do it on my own. I need help. You know, and that and that can be a long road getting to that place to actually admit that you've got a problem and you need help.
Yeah, because I didn't realise I was suffering with mental health for all the years. I just thought, like you said before, I'm just crazy because everyone put down to me, labelled me, he's a maniac, he's a crazy bastard. And I bought into that and thought, well, that's exactly what I am then. I like drugs, I like sex, I like rock and roll, and I'm chaos. But I accepted that and I didn't really understand that I had a deep-rooted fucking case of mental health going on, which I've only found now though, through asking.
But where drugs and alcohol are concerned, I need help with that, you know, because I can't even see how much damage. My head will always tell me a reason why drinking and using is a good option. You know, although I can't even see that. It'll tell me about the one good time where I pulled a nice woman and I had a really good time. It won't tell me about the bits where I'm eating out of bins and
so what that's called,
that's
what we call euphoric recall, isn't it? Where your mind's telling you like you can drive past a beer garden and think that looks fucking sound. But when did I last stand in a beer garden drinking?
Yeah.
I must be like 18, 19.
So that's me.
It doesn't tell me the chaos.
Summer, the sun.
Yeah.
I clock a few girls and my head's going, that looks good, and then I think, hold on a minute, what about the police coming, the handcuffs, the prison, all that?
So I think recovery, it strengthens your awareness on things, doesn't it? It makes you think better. Instead of that split second thing and gone, it gives you that like, whoa, that's not
gives
right.
you, doesn't it? A change in your thinking.
Yeah, and nothing changes unless you make the change, and it gives you tools what you didn't have before. You know, because my only tool I had for coping with being sad, happy, depressed, whatever, was alcohol and drugs. That was the only thing I had, you know. But it was also the thing what was damaging me the most. So it was a very it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, self-defeat is whatever you want to call it. You know, I'd be like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm sad. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get pissed out of my head. That'll solve everything. Then the next day, I wake up, I'm like, that's not my ceiling. Oh shit. I've got to press the buzzer in the police station to find out why I'm there. You know, and that's a scary place to be. And then whatever problems I had the day before are magnified now. No, they're amplified.
10 times worse.
And then you've got a load more stuff to do. And then I'd get out of the police station and I'd ring my mates, I'd go straight to the pub. And then tell everybody how wrongly I've been treated.
Yeah, that's done my head and I need a drink.
Resentments, innit? I used to have deep-rooted resentments with the police, you know, because it was their fault. I didn't have anything to do with me being a cunt and breaking the law, excuse me, language, you know, it was them. Because they've given me a hard time last time. So, you know, trying to justify the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing.
But why is it? Putting my drink down is it's the last thing we come to, isn't it? Because for years I tried going to the gym, I tried being a born-again Christian, I tried therapy stuff, geographical all the time, because I'd get barred from half the places of a new town I'd moved to within 6 months. I'd be like, oh, it's a bit rough around here.
Yeah,
lads don't like me. I'm too good looking, they don't like me around here.
So you pick your head up and get off with that, then you're back in another pub with your head again, causing the same shit, madness.
And it just never ended.
Start getting an understanding of it and realising, you know, we said it last night, it's like, someone said I've got a problem with diazepam. Well, right, okay.
Oh,
so
we was
you
doing
put
a
the
live show.
diazepam
We was
on
doing
the
the
table
Facebook show.
there,
Yeah.
and you go and sit back in your chair. The diazepam aren't doing anything, are they?
Yeah.
So,
So
it's
what's the
obvious
problem?
it's my
We're the
feet, my
problem.
hands, and my mouth that are the problem. Because as soon as I go like that, I'm fucked again.
Yeah, that's the
It's
problem.
like it's us that are the problem, and it's then when you start to realise that you're the problem, now it's your responsibility to do something about it. You know, you can't have the blame thrower out anymore, and it's my mum, it's my sister, it's her, it's him, it's that. You know, it's like the common denominator is me.
Well, what I found with my excuses was they eventually had a sell-by date. I ran out of excuses.
Yeah.
You know,
Excuses.
and that's why I believe every addict and alcoholic needs a rock bottom, because if you've still got a load of excuses, if you've still got a load of things that no, but when you're on your own in that darkness, when you look at yourself, you can identify this. You look at yourself in the mirror and you hate yourself, and you go to bed and you're not actually asked if you wake up. You don't want to kill yourself, you don't want to die, but you're not bothered if you wake up. That's a weird place to be in your head, you know, emotionally. It's like, and then when I finally got to that point, having panic attacks, didn't want to sleep upstairs. I was sleeping on the sofa with a bedside light on and stuff like that. Just trying to get through the days.
No excuses left. Exhausted every excuse that there ever was. Yeah, I think
but
that is the rock
I
bottom.
ran out of road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd run out of road, and only then did I go, you know what, maybe I need to put the drink down. Maybe I need to do something about this. And I spent a couple of days Googling rehabs and rang a few up, and I went all the way to Thailand because my ego told me I can't go to a priory in Altrincham near my office. Everybody will know, but everybody already knew it wasn't.
Like no shit. I've got a drink problem like no shit. Adam.
That's it, innit? We're the last ones to see it.
I went like 3,500 miles away.
Telling you all your life, you know, that's no good for you. You need to stop that. It's you lot with a problem. I'm all right, you know, because I can make me £10 for drugs. So in my head, I'm okay.
So the three of us have all come up with like similar stories and stuff, and I think what we can all identify with massively are the three of us are all working the same fucking program, the 12-step program. You know, I see some people and think you're not bad on the drugs and alcohol, but you're an absolute fucking maniac. I wish I could just like give them the 12-step program, and that's why I always say it's like if they put this into schools tomorrow, you know, in 10, 15, 20 years, and they even say it in a meditation, it says it would be a warless planet. We've got something, we've found something that's keeping us well. I just find it, I think it's a shame when
You've got to be ready
you've got to be,
for it though.
yeah, you've got to be on your hands and knees to find this stuff. And what I say is, not everybody gets off their knees. Some people aren't strong enough to get up off the floor, and that's where that comes in. They fucking kill themselves.
So, as a kid though, if I'd have been offered that as a kid, I'd have been, yeah, you might need that, but I'll be all right. You know, I wouldn't have had it.
I don't mean as a kid. I don't mean introducing it to schools, but I mean introducing it to the normal man that is having some right serious troubles, but it isn't alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for normal people in that. It's like, people are alcohol, because we've got somewhere to go. I feel blessed, but I've got somewhere to go. And
Someone
I can feel
to ring.
better, and someone's It's like, what do people who are suffering with depression or suffering with this? I mean, do we have
to doctor, don't they? And then they get a plaster over the top of the thing, don't they? It's like you've got a problem. There you go, mask it with that.
So what I was scared of. I think it's important for people to know that life in recovery is beautiful. It's amazing. I've travelled to more countries. I've done more things. I've had more success than ever. But at the start, I was full of fear. I was like, what am I going to do with my time? And what am I going to do with this? And now my life is so full, I wouldn't have time to drink. Well, if I drank, everything else would come.
You can imagine, though, can't you? The lives we live today, you know, we make it a bit hectic because we're pretty comfy in that, being busy and stuff. Imagine drinking and using on top of our lives today.
That's not the solution anymore, is it?
Oh, no way, no
when
chance.
you've been to meetings and you know that that's not your answer, and you've got 20 odd years of evidence as well. You know, I can be in family parties or friends parties now, and there'll be a bar there, and I don't even, you know, like people say, your family, you know, is it not bothering you? No, because I kind of know. I know now where my answer is.
Yeah.
You know, for me to pick up that drink or drug, we went to that convention and we said it, didn't we, to each other? We were sat in front of the bar. And I
It
said,
didn't
"Look
mean
at us
anything.
there. You
Didn't
know,
mean
there's
a thing.
row of spirits and bit of pumps." And we were sat there for 15, 20 minutes before we'd even noticed it was there.
Yeah.
Because it's not our answer anymore.
Work, you only say it's fucking hard work, this recovery, and I think it's nowhere near as hard as fucking rattling and retching and craving the
You kind
drugs.
of got to get over yourself as well and bare your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes courage, doesn't it? It takes
Yeah.
courage to be vulnerable and to ask for help and say, I just can't do it anymore. I can't live that way anymore.
First year, did you ever go in pubs or anything like
Nah,
that?
not at
That's what we're saying. So to the time, it's like we say, like first year, concentrate on your recovery. If you sit in an hairdresser's long enough, you will get an haircut. All them cliches, but they are spot on in what they're saying. I can go anywhere, like we can go anywhere in the world today and feel safe because what I'll do, I'll plug in to recovery. Doesn't have to be a meeting abroad. It can be just someone on the phone. I need to stay plugged into this stuff. If I was away from recovery too much, they would then become triggers for me. If I was out of recovery for a year, being in a pub, my head would convince me and think, was you even that bad? If I'm not around addicts and alcoholics a lot.
Round and think, well, my purpose maybe of me being there in that environment, maybe for someone else, because they kind of knew what I was like when I was using. Now they see me clean and not even drinking, and it kind of makes them look at what they're doing. So I kind of spin it on its head. My purpose for being there is different.
So there's an attraction rather
kind
than a
of got like
promotion.
that sixth sense that I like to be there.
But it's okay saying that now. You couldn't have done that in the first 12 months.
No chance.
I mean, I remember I was still going to. I had season tickets at Man City for years and years, and I was still going to matches, and then it was only after about a year in recovery I was like, I don't even like football.
Yeah, I'm like that.
I've been going home and away, City,
What
and
am I
all
doing
over
with this
Europe.
ticket? Yeah.
Is that part of
For-
So
it?
was it the
20
drink?
years.
Was it the drink and the chaos more?
It was a drink, the chaos, and being with other people. Who
That must have been mad. Sat there and watching the game thinking, I don't even like this game.
Yeah.
What am I doing with this ticket?
Yeah, so like I cancelled my tickets. I was like, I used to take my son with me as well to all the home games, Dominic, and I was like, do you like this, Dom? Are you into it? And he wasn't into it either, but he never told me.
Should you just get off?
Yeah, so I spent years following football. I used to go on Man City's website every day when I was drinking, just to see him, and I was on the phone trying to get me away.
I've never thought of this, mate, because I box and play rugby, and people say, did you watch Thingy fight? Do you know Thingy in rugby? I'm like, I don't follow it really anymore. And you just answered my question. I never give a fuck about it really. It's because of the drinking and the partying. Because the boxing, I'd be clean for 8 weeks. It's like a nice detox. And then I did it hard. The rugby, it was all about getting on the piss on the weekend. That's why I don't
just
watch
channeling your
rugby and
addiction in
boxing
other
today.
areas, aren't you?
Yeah. So I never liked it in the first place. Like, you don't like football? It's fucking mad. See what I mean? Through this conversation, I've just realised I never liked any of my careers. Hated them.
I
It
wanted
was just
to
the drinking and stuff.
say that as well, you know, like with the consistency in meetings. Sometimes I have to go into a meeting and then when I'm sat there, I'm piecing together the last few days of my whole life and I kind of like reflect back and it's like I piece everything and I think, fucking hell, yeah, that's what's been going on. You know, that's where I get me. For some reason, my brain just sort of locks together when I'm in that meeting and I can, like I say, join up the dots.
There's
to
a
what's
power
been
in the
going on.
meetings, isn't there?
Yeah.
That we definitely feel. I feel it. When I first, I do a talk every Tuesday at my detox unit where I first got well. And when I got kicked out because I didn't know what I was doing, and after they let me in, after begging them saying I'll kill myself if you don't let me back in, I knew there was something in them meetings that the group, I used to call them groups are key. There's something about that, and I felt the power in that, and I knew that's how I was going to get well. People talking, and
That's
people
where
say to
the
me,
magic
"What
happens,
people
innit?
just
You
sit and
get
talk
that
about,"
stuff
and then you get sober from that. And it's like that's basically it. We do a bit of a program, do a bit of work on ourselves, but all we do is sit in meetings, people talk, and that keeps us sober and clean.
It's alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, you know, whether it's depression, whatever, reach out for help. You know, you don't have to be on your own. You don't have to be alone. Whatever secrets, whatever sickness you've got going on wants to keep you isolated. Yeah. You know, so you just got to reach out for help. And
I was saying it this morning. It's like whenever I've worked with another addict or an alcoholic, I've never ever heard anybody say anything that's made me go, "You're gonna have to go, mate. I'm sorry." You know, so don't, you know, all that sort of stuff that you internalise and you bury for years.
So yeah, there's one that...
We've all been through it.
That's one that I did here in the meeting once. I've read it a few times. You tell your sponsor everything. If you tell your sponsor you fucked a chicken, your sponsor will probably say, "Well, it's all right, I fucked a dead one." Do you know what I mean? And I thought, that's right. There's nothing... I've been told some stuff and they're expecting like the world to collapse around, and I'm like, is that it? Is that what you've been worried about? I'm going to tell you something now.
I did that in a rehab and everyone was like, all right.
But then see, as we've been told...
So then it brings you together with that person. Because obviously I thought, what do you mean, is that it? You know, because for years I'd told myself I was a bad person for it, or, you know, when I say it and you go, yeah, and? What are you on about?
It takes the power out of it. I think sharing it with another human or group of humans takes the power out of it, because people reassure you and say, "Oh, look, why we've done that. Just because we've done bad things doesn't make us bad people."
Yeah.
You know, get a level of sanity back then, don't you? Yeah. You know, by
because you think you're on your own. You're like, "Oh my God!" And my brain used to tell me, "What if they know? What if they know what I'm really like and what I've really done?"
Yeah, I sat in meetings, thinking, no one's as sick as me. Do you know what I mean? Then I did a few shares and think, he might be as sick as me. Do you know what I mean? Then I'd share some, and then it encourages the other ones. And seeing you think you're mad, I done this, and I think, maybe I am not that fucking mad. Do you know what I mean? It made me feel more at home. Yeah, unique.
I love it when you share it a meeting and think, "Oh, that's great. He makes me look good."
That's you compared to that. I'm not sick. I can't be an alcoholic.
Anything I got to say now, in the light of day, is nothing as because he does throw his bare soul in there.
But you know what? I've shared more stuff that you should share for a sponsor. And people must leave the meeting and think, "What? And I've been worried about sharing this to one person in a room on my own." But I told you, didn't I? I was more comfortable bearing my truths in a meeting. But then when I had that one-on-one with my sponsor, I was thinking, I can't tell him this. If there was 10 people there, I'd be able to do it then. My ego again, well, it's a bit of an audience, you can do that.
Yeah, that's just
so that was my
safety blanket. You're comfortable, but some people are different. Some people are better at listening. Some people are better at talking. That's maybe just the way you are. The key is that you're getting it on the table and getting it gone.
I sat in meetings all thinking, he's a sick cunt. And then I'm thinking to myself, he's a sick, you're sick. Do you know, having that little discussion in my head as well. I compared in the beginning, me though. That's why I didn't do the program. I don't need this shit. You need this. I don't fucking need this, because I was comparing, because there was people in there talking about putting pins in the ground and having no teeth, and I'm thinking, I've still got my car, mate. And that fucking threw me out, and to the point where I thought, I've been doing nothing but identifying with these people. Let me back in, please. Do you know what I mean? That identification in us. It's, look at us. We're from 3 different walks of life, and we've all identified massively with our upbringing and how our thinking is.
Well, I mean, I think people need to know that not only does it take courage to want to change, but once if you've got the awareness that there's an issue, whatever that issue may be, you know, if you've got the awareness, then you can have acceptance. If you've got acceptance, you can take action.
You say it all the time, action. It's the action.
It's the action what gets you well. You know, you wouldn't go to the gym once a year and expect to have a six-pack, would you? You know, it takes a lot of work. It takes going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. Yeah, it takes perseverance, resilience, and it takes action.
Awareness is good, but action for me. I used to think awareness is key, because when I know, it's like, yeah, you can know you can know everything, but for me, action's key. It's getting up and fucking doing something about it.
We mentioned
the underlying. That's another thing that tells us faith without works is dead.
The underlying stuff, you know, for me is depression, and just of late. So this is where action comes in. I've been a couple of nights on the settee, like you said. I'm thinking, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Gym's not been doing as much gym. Dark nights outside, I'm looking outside, and all this is feeding into that depression, and I'm going down. But I can sit in that, because that's what I've always done. I've always sat in pain. But so the last couple of days,
Bit of action, trained up, looking after myself, eating properly, bit of meditation. Yeah. Just a few simple things. When they say
people, and I'm out of that place in a couple of days, you know, and I've been sat in it for about 3 or 4 days, I would say. But the last 2 days, just being around people and not going home and sitting on my own, listening to this, you know, getting around people, talking to people. like a little bit different from these guys probably, because these probably had quite a lot of stuff externally. For me, I went into rehab from a hostel, so I had nothing. You know, my mental health was smashed, my physical health was smashed. I was basically on the bones of my backside, you know, so to have to turn that around, it's took a long time. You know, I spent 2 years in supported housing after the rehab that I did.
So what's filled the gaps?
So it had to be meetings. You know, before you said, you know, I had to live in meetings for me because I had nowhere left. You know, my family didn't want me back around. You know, I couldn't see I did see my kids at weekends, but kind of, I didn't have anything. But that was a good place to be because I didn't, you know.
So were you addicted?
I had no other option.
Do you think that you became? Because I have said this and I've stated this. You know, it can be frowned upon when I say the 12-step program and our recovery is an addiction in itself.
I don't mind being addicted to
what I'm
that
saying,
because
what would your answer
been...
be on that, though? Would it be, well, yeah or no?
I think it's a positive. It's a positive
addiction.
I can turn up to see my kids when I say I'm going to. I can pay bills in my own flat. I never, you know, I was homeless till did a little bit of sofa surfing in and out of prison, but I never had my own place. I've never been, you know, I pay council tax. I've never,
So
you know, it's 40 years old.
Is recovery and helping others for you today, is that a form of an addiction? Do you think you're addicted to it? Do you think if you wasn't doing that, you would fucking crave it?
I don't mind being addicted to it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Do you think it is an addiction? Because I truly believe if you're not addicted to this, you're dipping your toe in. You're on dangerous ground. So me, I can hold my hands up and say, yeah, I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to helping other people. I'm addicted to recovery. I'm addicted to being a nicer person. So for some people that aren't willing to do what we've had to do, basically, what I say is just try and transfer the addiction.
As well?
What do you mean?
There's positive and negative addictions, isn't it? It's like I went to the gym every day when the first couple of years when I got out. You know, I've never been pulled over and locked up for
training
gym driving.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I've only ever been locked up for drink driving.
There is positive addictions. If you see yourself, people call it an addictive personality. I choose to call it alcoholism. They say 15% of the population suffer with this, and it's like I can go in a fucking CrossFit gym and think addict, obsessed. This.
I'm all right being addicted to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If I am addicted to it, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Because you know my kids are all right. My mum and dad sleep better at night, knowing that they're not going to get the phone call Adam's dead.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with you know, and if I can help other people escape from it, then it's a win-win situation, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's just kind of, for me, I had to be daily. If I'm not helping someone, I'm sat with this, and I've had to become addicted to it. It's as simple as, and for me, it's not a bad addiction to have. I'm never going to get put in prison, or I'm never going to lose the kids by helping someone every day, you know, carrying a message. That's step 12 for me, is to carry this message to the still suffering addicts and alcoholics. But for me, it's like, let's tell everyone.
Get away from this as well.
Yeah, to give everyone the message. You know, this stuff was written in the 30s when there wasn't social media or anything like that, and the anonymity statement of why we shouldn't talk about our stuff. And you know, for me, a lot of it was down to shame and guilt. It was illegal at one point for 3 alcoholics to be in the same vicinity and stuff.
Today I wouldn't have been allowed in AA back in the day. They wouldn't have let me in.
Yeah.
They'd have gone, nah,
but now we're more open, like the likes of us now talking. We're from the world of recovery. Some people frown upon it, the way we talk about it. But I'm not ashamed. I don't give a fuck if people judge me for having this disease, alcoholism.
Well, I think our stories are powerful, and in sharing our stories, we can help other people, because
not just the alcoholics.
For me, secrets kept me sick. You know, I wish somebody had told me when I was in the madness that there was a recovery program. I only found out about recovery in 12 steps in rehab, and I was oblivious to it before.
Yeah, didn't have a clue. You had to be on your hands and knees to go into it to find it.
I don't know where it was.
The solution was alcohol and drugs before that.
Yeah, I was ignorant, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I don't have to live like that. There is another way. Yeah. But I wasn't aware of it. And then when I knew what good looked like, I was like, I'm not going back to that.
Thoughts then, no, it's not going to work for me though. There's, you know, you were saying that, weren't you, before? It's like,
my whole thinking throughout my life has been fear-based thinking, and I was full of fear that I was going to go back out. But that fear drove me to be obsessed with the meetings. You know, my life was as simple as waking up in the morning, looking at meetings list, that's where I'm going today. right, breathe out. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I had to do. I had to change my phone number. I had to ditch all my old mates. You know, I had mates who used to put my arm around and say, I love you, you're like a brother to me. I'd never even met their mum and dad. We didn't know my kids' names.
I can remember, waiting for the crack dealer to turn up. Like, I'm going to fucking kill him if he don't turn up. And then when he turned up, like, hey, how's the kids and stuff? Madness. Like he was my best fucking mate. Madness.
Yeah, you know what? I had a big 30th birthday party. There must have been like 300-400 people there. And in the last 3 months, I reckon I've spoke to 2 people who was at the 30th birthday party.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Madness,
but in my head back then, they were all my best mates and we were all like brothers forever.
Associates, aren't they?
It's just bullshit. Yeah. My whole life was built on quicksand and make-believe. And it was only when I put the drink and the drugs down that I saw it. And I was like, wow. I mean, that was so toxic for me. Those people were, the place was, I was, you know. And to get away from that is just...
I pity people that are still trapped in it. I do. It's like painful existence.
When you can look and think they need a program in the life.
Kind of, I could walk into a pub where I'm from, take a picture, go back in 6 months, take the same picture, and I'm sure pretty much the same sort of people that be sat there with the long faces, they're not happy.
First thing we're told in when we start attending like fellowship meetings of NA, AA, CA. Go on. What is it? What one of the first things that you're told? Because
get to meetings and sort of listen.
If you what I was waiting for was identification. If you can identify with anything that you just heard from us 3 maniacs, because we're still maniacs basically, but working a program. The book tells us that as well. If we're not working this program, we're really fucking mad. If you can identify with anything that we're talking about, from the childhood stuff, our behaviours, fears and stuff like that.
Help, just go and get over yourself and go and get a bit of outside help.
But that's what I mean. Is that what you're saying? Like,
so
where should
local
people
drug
actually
service, go to a meeting, mutual aid groups.
In your area, wherever it is you're suffering from, there will be a solution. You don't have to live in the darkness. You don't have to be in this pit of self-pity and self-delusion and self-loathing and selfishness. You don't have to live there. There is solutions out there, but you've got to find them and you've got to put the action in.
And ask questions when you get there. going out. How have you done it? What did you do?
If you got problems with narcotics, go to Narcotics Anonymous. Yeah. Let's keep it simple. If you got problems with alcohol, go to Alcoholics Anonymous. If you got problems with cocaine, go to Cocaine Anonymous. If there was something called Maniacs Anonymous, I probably would have gone there, but there just isn't that. But what you will find in all them meetings, if you struggle with any of them 3 things, you will find identification. And if you don't feel identification, maybe you've not really got a problem. Maybe you just need to start transferring your little addictions to more positive things like training, work, helping other people, being a nice person. It's like if you think you're not that bad, there's something we call it yet. Yeah, there's a lot of yets to come. And you don't think they'll ever come to you.
Yeah, but I think we're at a time on the planet where there's more resource available online than ever in the history of the world. Whatever it is you're suffering from, there will be a solution. And if you put the action in and push forward and get obsessed, instead of being obsessed about your ex-missus or obsessed about your life shit, your job shit, obsessed about drinks, get obsessed about you. Get excited by your own personal growth. Get excited about your own recovery. That's where you need to be obsessed about.
Yeah.
If you get excited,
investing the time into yourself. Yeah,
you're gonna fucking make some changes.
Yeah.
That's where the excitement and the obsession needs to be.
Yeah, I think I said it to you last night as well. You've got to find something that's better than drinking drugs as well.
So I like that. Invest your time into yourself more. Because we're busy investing it into everything fucking else and everything that everyone else is doing. You start investing more. But these are just like simple things that some people they can't absorb that information. Some people need you to hold their hand and walk them into a meeting. It's like,
not only that as well, the substances are that powerful. Let's not take away from how powerful it actually bloody is.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna use tomorrow. I wake up, it's the first thought in my mind.
Yeah.
And then once I've picked up, it's like it's another day gone basically. I can't go today because I've had a drink or I've used or the.
All right, don't underestimate the power of drinking drugs. Don't underestimate that. But don't
kill you
fucking,
if you-
I know,
if
but
you
don't
carry on.
underestimate the power of recovery as well.
Well, surround
Because-
yourself with good people. You know,
Yeah.
for me, I had to cut all my old friends off, and I had to find positive, aspirational humans who to hang around with, because my old circle didn't serve any purpose. It wasn't a circle. I had a cage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was locked in with all these people who were like me.
Like a pinball
They were
machine.
toxic. I was toxic. I had to ditch all them and then make new friends. And now I've got friends in recovery. I've got friends who just don't drink. They're just not into it. But they're not in recovery. But you know, there are people out there living these positive, amazing lives.
Yeah,
Go
people can
find
get
them.
to that, can't they? It's like, right, what do we do? Now the substance is gone. My life's going to be shit. I'm not going to be able to go out, but you find out that it's not. You know, once you've had a little bit of time under your belt and you start to gain a bit of confidence, things start happening in your life, don't they?
So,
All comes back. Whatever you've lost can come back, and it can come back in bucket loads and a lot more than you ever lost. If you just put yourself first, put your recovery first.
yeah, they talk about the ripple effect. We'll end on this. The ripple effects of chaos that we cause through addiction and drinking and stuff like that. But I believe there's a second ripple effect, and that's when we get well, and that ripples out. The more I concentrate on being well, it ripples out to the kids and my friends around me and stuff. But we've got to work on ourselves. If we try and work on other people, it's not good for us. We can be too busy cleaning everyone else's fucking windows, as I say, and then forget our own. And then when we forget ourselves, we can be back to square one, can't we? And this is the only battle on the planet that I'm aware of. If you throw in the towel, you win. That's the truth, innit? So I want to throw it like at the camera like that, and we'll do something spectacular with that.
It's in.
But yeah, just throw the towel in. If you're struggling and you can identify with anything that me and the two Adams have spoke about
Just admit
today.
you're beaten, innit?
Yeah, just throw the towel in and you'll
keep
win.
getting in the ring with substances, you're getting flattened. You're getting flattened, and you get up again, you have another go, you get flattened, you know. So it's like, I can't do it. Fuck it. There you go.
So that's it.
What do I have to do?
And reach out and ask for help. Nice one, Adam.
Thank you.
Nice one, Adam.
Cheers, man.
That was
Nice one.
great, that.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you, man.
Right, now we're going to say the Serenity Prayer. No, we're not.